So I've been asked for about a year now, what was the impact of COVID and what kind of impact would it have on the draft? So from a personal standpoint, probably saved the most impact for last in that it's fitting that after being exposed earlier in the week, day 3 this morning, we often call Reggie, our director of athletic performance, the Grinch this time of year, because he might give you some bad medical reports on one of the guys we'd love to draft. But started feeling some effects last night, so I called Reg on the way over this morning to test and say, hey, I'm expecting a positive. So of course he let me know about 30 minutes later, gave me that Grinch news. So did test positive this morning, so I'm gonna miss out on drafting at the Rocket Mortgage Draft House, but we'll move it to the Rocket Mortgage Garage here and probably like the 2020 draft. I'll do it from remote and be a part of it from here. So, but can't make that up, right? You test positive like on the first day of the draft. I mean, not like 2 days before, the first day. But
all right. We'll open up with Kevin.
Hey, Les. Are your symptoms at all troublesome? Are you worried about that? I mean, are you sick?
It is interesting, and I think my symptoms. I know there's been people right in this country, all around the world, had a lot worse than me. I can tell you, last night, when you are exposed, you might go through the psychosomatic type deal and you start feeling things. But last night, some of the aches. Okay, I was like, okay, this is real. But the good thing is nothing major yet. So we'll cross our fingers there and treat it a little bit, maybe like the flu. But Advil helped tonight, and look forward to probably a nap this afternoon helped. A little Advil after, but definitely know there's a virus trying to, I guess you'd call it attack the body a little bit. But as you can see, in a relatively good spot right now.
Have you had your shots?
You know what? I did have first vaccination and was going to get the second one. I think it was scheduled for Monday or Tuesday of this week. So I've been told that it will now be delayed. So was close to the finish line there.
Okay. Can I ask one football question? After seeing who's still on the board after round 1, do you see more opportunity on defense, on offense?
You know what? It's interesting when you're picking 50s like we are. There's still a lot of people on the board, both sides of the ball right now, but we're still how many picks away? I mean, that board, it'll, as I like to say, it'll get wiped out pretty quick. But so it'll be interesting once we get in and around our pick, right? What runs occurred at what positions and what may, what side of the ball may have the stronger player. So we're going to try to prepare for multiple positions. That's what you have to do when you're picking 57. And unless you're gonna attack and be aggressive and go get someone.
Yeah. Thanks.
Lindsay.
Hey, Les. All about timing, huh? Are you able to share
Perfect timing, Lindsay.
Terrible
Perfect timing. You know what my wife said? My wife said, because I'm an only child, she said only children are spoiled and they, somehow figure out a way to still become relevant even when you don't have a first round pick. So.
And you couldn't leave it just the beach house. You had to throw in COVID too. Are you able to say, Les, because you guys did mention that it was you and Sean who came into close contact with somebody. Are you able to say if it was a Rams staff member or who might have been the close contact?
I would say that I don't want to name a name, but yes, was a Rams staff member.
Okay. And is there any, has this impacted anybody else or kind of your bigger draft group or scouting team, I should say?
It is coincidentally, maybe even ironically, we've probably been one of the more conservative teams, and we didn't bring in our our, if you want to, a lot of the guys that are out of town, and we had thought about this was going to be the chance to get everybody back together, but made the decision that it might not be the best timing. And so we've been remote. So it hasn't affected anyone in personnel.
Thank you.
Gary?
Les, I know you're not going to name them, but is when you say a staff member, you mean a member of the coaching staff or a member of the support?
Let's keep it at I want to say Rams. I don't want to get into that unless I ask them if I could do that. So haven't done that. So.
Okay. There was some buzz today, about the Aaron Rodgers situation in Green Bay. And that it was reported that you guys had made some overtures to the Packers regarding Rodgers back in January. Can you confirm that?
No, I can't. You know what? I think that was kind of a little bit rumorish, back kind of when that carousal was going on. So we were never serious contenders in that play then. We kind of, early in the process there, when Matt became available, we kind of jumped into those sweepstakes and attacked that.
But is it fair to say you guys made some overtures, or you called Green Bay to ascertain if he was available?
No, I won't. I'm not going to confirm that, but I don't think he was ever available.
Jordan?
I guess he is today. I kind of hadn't followed that drama today, but.
Jordan?
Real quick, if I could pose a quick question to Artis. Artis, are you able to say whether Sean McVay tested negative today?
Sean McVay tested negative today. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then
I did
Les, sorry.
I did as well.
Oh, that's good. That's nice to know, Artis. Les, first and foremost, talking with Reggie about what happens next for you, was there frustration on your end, or what are some of the steps that you need to take now in terms of isolating yourself?
There was never a frustration, and then what's interesting, you find out, right? You really, two things occur, right? Maybe the person who we were exposed to feels really guilty, so you try to make sure. Look, I mean, I was a pre-med major, so I know viruses want to live, and they're going to do whatever it takes to live, and to live, if you're a virus, right, is to get from one host to the next. So it's not one person's fault for sure. So you want to make sure they don't feel guilty. And I think once you do have it, you really begin feeling guilty about, right, now you got to pull the kids out of school, things like that. But I think I'm going to, I kind of made a little bit of an office here in the garage. I think I'm going to pull a mattress out here in the garage and sleep out here. So right now, Kara will not let me in the house. So food and water from the garage, and got a nice weight room over here. So it's everything a guy could really need. But not really frustrated at this point in time. And as Kevin mentioned, I mean, when I chatted, the fortunate thing, I do think being, let's call it, relatively deep into the first shot of vaccination, probably the data says good chance of weathering this, right, without, major symptoms like a lot of people faced in this country.
And then as you're tracking the way the first round fell, were you expecting as many skill position players to go as who did? And then how does that set you guys up to sort of operate, whether you're going to move around or stay put tomorrow?
Yeah, but I think I was trying to think it's pretty interesting when you're picking 57, you kind of try to wipe out or eliminate a portion of the board that you really don't have to, study any further, right, for efficiency purposes. So I definitely expected, you know, the skill to go. And what's interesting too, right, you had 3 skilled players go really early, counting Pitts at Florida, and then Devontae goes, and then there's going to be a run there. And then what's interesting, right, you get the back-to-back. That's what's neat about the draft. You get the back-to-back running back run, and then you get Travis getting the, I guess you call it reading the night with Trevor. So, you know, those are the interesting things. But you see those runs, and tomorrow there's going to be a run. Don't know which position, you know, it might be, but it's once you see a couple go off the board and teams that do, or let's say that was one of their primary needs, they're going to probably do what it takes to make sure they don't lose out.
Kurt?
Hey, Les, following up a little bit about Jordan's first question, with your kind of impromptu garage setup now, how different is that to what you had last year? And do you have any concerns about tomorrow, inabilities to communicate or any of that stuff? You
know what, I wish I could, I don't think I could share it, but I give our IT team credit today to come in and set this up. But last year, right, things happened really quickly and kind of did this makeshift draft room office. And then what's interesting, when our kids, ended up being doing school from remote school, whatever we want to call it, for most of this year, they ended up thinking that was the cooler place to do school, so they kicked me out, and I ended up kind of moving the home office to this garage is kind of a indoor outdoor living area, so a good space because I can open the doors and feel like I'm outdoors. So I've been working out of here, pretty much since the kids kicked me out of that office, but this was my favorite place anyway. So, but sometimes you don't want to do laughing matters in this, because I know people have gone through it and had serious times, but before Jeff Graves and his IT team came today, we brought in, let's call it, if you call it fumigate, they were wearing hazmat suits, cleaning the garage so that Jeff and Dan Demetrius in our video could come in and make sure things go smoothly. But I was in the backyard, but was embarrassed to come out because all the neighbors were now stopping by and seeing these, 3 to 4 people in hazmat suits coming in and out of the garage. But they were here just to really, if you want to call it, probably clean the area before Jeff and his group jumped in. But like last year, they get an A+ for making sure. The main thing they wanted to do here is I work off Wi-Fi. They wanted to make sure I had, let's call it super Wi-Fi or backup Wi-Fi, or, and my teenagers really get used to it because now the house is really super fast. But
I hope you feel better, Les.
Thank you.
Greg?
Hey, Les, these last few drafts without a first round pick, when you're watching them at home or at the office or whatever, do you pay special attention, like a lot of fans do, to your slot, where it was and who gets picked and who was available around there? Do you do any of that?
We'll have fun every now and then and go, okay, if we were picking, who would we pick? So we have done that the last couple of years, for sure.
But
I think the year we had the 31st pick, obviously you couldn't do that because we were trading back. But last year, I believe we did it, and this year as well. So
I assume the overall feeling you take out of that is, boy, I'm glad I have Jalen Ramsey instead of, whatever it was. I mean, that's what a lot of fans feel. I assume you feel the same way too.
Well, and the answer to that is yes, because we made the trade, right? But I mean, I think the insight on that is right. Jalen is who he is, and has, his projection is over. He's now in his prime and is, a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type corner. So the difference between him and some kids tonight is they have, a lot of them have that potential, and now it's going to be on them as the the person on and the environment they're in to see if, that projection leads to, definitely contributing to an NFL team.
Thanks.
Eric.
Hey, Les, wanted to ask what your process is in setting the draft board for tomorrow. Do you guys work on that tonight, or do you sleep on it and then start again in the morning and get going and start making calls to kind of figure out, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Eric, I think tomorrow, we talked through multiple scenarios. So the board set, and it'll be a guide North Star for us tomorrow. And probably, when we get to 57, let's just say we have a favorite, a second favorite, a third favorite, a four. Myself, the GM, will always go, okay, what if we don't get our fifth favorite? And a lot of times you say, okay, if we get to this point, maybe we trade back, but you're always trying to plan too. What if you don't have a dance partner and you can't trade, right? You got to pick. So you definitely want to, I don't want to call it worst case scenarios, but definitely talk through the scenarios where you get deep into that so that you're not necessarily doing it on the clock. But as it gets closer to 57, you're right, there'll be a good feel for how the board's fall and if it's fallen, the way we'd prefer or not. So
Thanks, Les.
Greg, I was thinking if we'd have stayed at, what was it, 25 tonight and picked a running back, what would the headlines be tomorrow?
I think you got the headlines you want already a couple of years ago.
Lindsay, you got a smirk on your face. You've already written your headline. Rams go running back 3 straight years.
So that would have been the pick, Les? You guys would have picked a running back?
No, I'm just saying if that's who got picked.
Right.
I'm pretty certain we wouldn't have picked the running back.
Yeah.
Although he's a good player.
Jordan.
Yeah, Les, just to follow up on Eric's question, at what point do you expect sort of these phone calls inquiring about a trade to really hit into the tangible tomorrow? And in the way it stands now, are you guys in what you feel to be a good position to explore that pretty seriously?
Yeah, the answer is yes, and we've been working a lot on the players, if you want to call it the Friday players, the second and third rounders. So we'll do some prep tomorrow to see which teams might be willing to come up. But a lot of times when you're at 57, you'll get random calls, maybe calls that you didn't plan for because maybe someone falls and a team back behind you, that now they're calling you because they want that player. So sometimes it's surprising and probably, think maybe 80, really maybe even pick 103. That's usually historically probably you get a lot of calls there as teams maybe want to jump up into that bottom of the third instead of waiting, till Saturday to make that pick. So that's usually a busy area as well when you're picking in the late third. So it's sometimes it's wild. We'll be on the phone and it's just, you don't have enough phones to answer. And then sometimes it's quiet. So probably depends on who falls, but second, third round is usually there's still some pretty salty players on the board that, people want to move up and get.
All right. Hey, Les, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate y'all. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. We'll have made three picks. So we'll have football to talk about.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, feel
Appreciate
better.
that.
Yeah, well, soon, Les.
See y'all.
Thanks.
Take care, Les.